Welcome to Overdevest Nurseries on a blustery afternoon in early spring. And here inside this house, I wanted to take a moment or two to let you see this spectacular variety of coral bells. This is Heuchera Peach Crisp, a selection that was developed by Terra Nova Nurseries in Oregon. And as I zoom here on this first plant in the row, I want you to see not only the stunning colors that this plant presents, but also the really spectacular ruffled edges to the leaves, which of course is where the name crisp comes from. For this plant not only gives you really great colorful foliage, it also provides texture. Add to that a little bit of leaf movement when the breezes blow through it outdoors, and then when you get that, you will see these spectacular backs to the leaves that happen when the wind rustles through and shows the reverses of the leaves. And I think you can see what a colorful attraction this would make in your garden. Tight and compact, and yet nice and vigorous and strong growing. It makes a tight clump that's round about 10 to 12 inches or so high by about maybe 12 or 14 inches wide. And then, as you see now, it's just starting to produce the first flowers that are rising up above the canopy of foliage. And as you see, they are dainty little white flowers that stand up to maybe about 15 or 18 inches above the soil level. So all in all, a beautiful little plant to put in at the front of beds and borders. Would make a superb edger. If you're looking to have something to edge a bed, to run alongside paths and driveways, to put in a raised bed, to put in a rockery perhaps, anywhere where you're going to be able to enjoy this long-lasting and highly textural effect from this lovely variety. What's neat about it also is that it will grow in a wide variety of light conditions. Now, we probably suggest that you think about growing this in a partially shaded site, because that's where you normally put coral bells, heucheras like this, particularly if you supplement the soil conditions with plenty of organic matter when you plant it. They just love to have lots of organic matter in at the roots. So it's really worth taking a little bit extra time, digging a good generous sized hole, working in plenty of planting compost, because when you do that, the fibrous roots will get in there, they will love those conditions, and then that will create lots of strong, vigorous growth that of course will give you all of these luxuriant leaves that look even better. But what's interesting too is that this particular variety we found out to be remarkably sun tolerant. You see, one of its forerunners many years ago featured very well in what we called our sunbake test. We basically took a bunch of varieties and put them out in full sun to see what they would do, and we found that this type really stood up very well to sunny conditions. Now, they do better when you're able to provide the sort of planting conditions that I just mentioned a moment or two ago. It's very important that they're able to have that organic matter in the soil, because that helps to retain moisture in the soil and keeps them going when it's tough and dry and sunny. That's the stuff that's really going to help them get through those tougher periods. So all in all, an excellent variety that you can grow in sunny or in partially shaded conditions. A plant that you could put in near the fronts of beds and borders, but I would also suggest that you think very strongly about using these also in container combinations. With something like this, with all of this textural effect that comes from the leaves, this would look like really something neat if you were to put it in, say, a light colored container at the front, somewhere where you're able to contrast these beautifully ruffled leaves with, say, the plain edge of a pot or a container. Altogether, a wonderful variety that we found here to be an excellent performer. When you look through the crop, you get some idea of the consistency and the vigor that this plant has. a really wonderful variety that we highly recommend. This is Heuchera Peach Crisp, a really wonderful coral bells or coloured leaf form of alum root.